Good morning from Vietnam, from the highlands of southern Vietnam, near the city of Dalat. I'm renting a house, an old house, and enjoy working on my garden. But today I would like to talk about something that is not very funny, pleasant, but unfortunately it still exists in Vietnam, even though it's a crime. Stealing dogs is a crime. Slaughtering them, selling them as dog meat, and eating them, unfortunately, is still legal. Uh, Dog theft is quite common in Vietnam. I've been speaking to people that have lost 5, 6, 20 dogs. I never could imagine that I will be one of those people that have lost their dogs to thieves. But unfortunately it happened. Very likely nobody saw what happened, but our Kito dog disappeared one night when he went for his little walk with his brother Mimi, and he never came back. So this video I make for the loving memory of my beloved friend, family member, Kito dog. I'll show some pictures and tell you about our story. Rest in peace, my dear friend Kito. You will never be forgotten. I will preserve your memory forever, forever. This video I am making for the loving memory of my dog, of my friend, of my family member Kito here in Vietnam. Just over a year we were together, but we have, or I have, so many memories of our adventures, of our early morning walks, of our life with the family of my partner. Kito disappeared one night around January 10th, 2019 in Lai Vung, Dong Thap province, Vietnam. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but all the locals tell me there is no hope of getting him back. Those who know are quite positive about what happened. He was stolen, he was killed immediately. Positive thing in that terrible experience, terrible fate, is that his end was most likely instant. He didn't know what happened to him. He didn't get tortured before slaughtering like other dogs did. Just on the village road, somebody came, probably 2 men on motorbikes. One was riding the bike and the other caught the dog with a lasso and gave him very strong electric shock to kill him. Then he was transferred probably to a lorry or car where there were other stolen and killed dogs. He was brought to somewhere, slaughtered, transported to a market, probably in Ho Chi Minh City, Quito, who knows where, Cao Lan, to a city, and then somebody bought him, mostly men consume dog meat, probably a woman prepared it for them. They were drinking beer or rice vodka and eating my dog. I have been thinking about it, pictured it in my mind so many times that I already can tell it to you without bursting into tears. But there is always silent cry in my mind for losing my dear friend, family member, beloved dog. It's just a dog, get a new one, was a comment given to me. All of you, those of you who know what love is, who are able to love animals, who are able to love cats and dogs, who are able to show compassion to all animals. You know what I'm talking about. Losing an animal that you have a strong emotional connection with, it's not just like losing an object, a tool. For many people, animals are just tools or objects of exploitation. Like I was taught in my childhood in the Christian culture of Finland that God gave the nature and animals to people to make use of for exploitation. That's what happens here in Vietnam. That was what happens in Australia, in Finland, in the US. So many animals are exploited, tortured, killed for the benefit of human beings. There is also some symbiosis where both parties benefit of the relationship, but this is not the case. Somebody may ask why I am crying because of a dog. There are thousands, millions of pigs, cows, chicken, other animals, beings that have the spirit, anim, that can move, that can breathe, that can eat, that can feel. Why is it only a dog that I am crying after? Because I knew him. His personality is familiar to me. He is a unique Kito. No other dog is like him. So I love him. I have good memories with him. He's been good to me. I've been good to him. I also been not so good to him by leaving him alone with the in-laws, thinking that it's safer for Kito and his brother Mimi to stay there with the in-laws. They took good enough care of him. I thought the care is better than I can ever give in these circumstances. But I was wrong. I'm not blaming them. They did a good job anyway. They were locked in at night because everybody knew that there are thieves around. Many houses have lost their dogs. Many families have lost over 20 dogs during the years. My partner has lost 5 dogs before Quito. I only have lost 1 dog that was run over by a car, little Maxie dog in Nations Beach, Queensland, Australia. When we were walking near the highway was empty and the dogs were running near it. Then suddenly came 4 cars with no lights on, with very high speed. Probably friends were having a car race. When they were approaching, Maxie ran across the road. I shouted to him, "Maxie, come back! Maxie, back!" He turned back, but at the same time a car hit him very lightly. There were no visible injuries in his body, just blood coming out of his mouth, and he was immobile, quiet, and his heart wasn't beating. His body started getting colder. I carried him to the side of the road and then home. Buried him in the backyard. He was a dog that had been with us about a year. His home was in Woodstock, Queensland, Australia. He was our landlord's dog that had been rescued by him from a man that was treating him badly, a small sausage dog. I don't know the breed, and I don't care about the breeds. Soon Maxie was bitten by dingo, almost died, but survived. Then we moved to Cairns. I still let him run free, a country boy, and it was bad for him. It was his end. Of course, I blamed myself. I should have protected him better. I blame myself because of Kito. I should have protected him better. I should have taken better care of him. Why did I leave him alone? Why didn't I make our house suitable, safe for 2 dogs, fence the yard, invest some money? Here it's not very big money. I could have afforded. Why didn't I insist renting the big house with the huge fenced yard that we were looking at with my partner in December? She didn't like the place, and I was a bit worried about the hard work that would require to make the house home. I just rented this place in August, and I have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours making it nice and cozy, painted, made the garden, collected all the plastic rubbish that was thrown into the yard, all the other rubbish. But no, I agreed not to rent that place, and I agreed leaving the dogs there in Laibung, 400 kilometers away, to live with the in-laws. They were not my dogs in that sense anyway. I was the one who took them for walks, who they liked very much, who they loved. I have memory and photos of Kito licking my bald head so eagerly, almost vigorously, a day or two before I left, during our last time together, as if he knew that he won't be seeing me again. Maybe he did know. Dogs are more intelligent, and they may have more senses than us. They may know things. Some people say dogs can sense a person with cancer, a sick person. There was a man in the neighborhood that Kito really was afraid of. As I can remember, that man never did anything bad to him, but he was sick with cancer. He passed away soon after, a few months after I had noticed Kito really wants to avoid him. When he was there standing on his gate or on the yard, Kito even didn't want to go past him, but he turned back and returned home. He was scared. Kito wasn't a very brave dog. Sometimes when we were walking on the village road and a motorbike passed us and kicked him. People there used to kick dogs to tell them to go away from the road, to stay away from the place where the motorbikes go. There were not cars driving high speed on the roads, just motorbikes with relatively low speed. Even chicken could walk on the roads. Only once did I see a dead chicken. So Kito really cried and got scared. He started running away towards home, but when I called him, he came to me. I went to comfort him. It happened a few times, and once when we were doing our afternoon bike ride, I used to carry him on my bicycle in a basket, in the front when he was small, in the back when he grew bigger and too heavy for bike. So I rode about 10-15 minutes from home. I set him free and turned back, started riding towards home, and Kito happily was running in front of me, ahead of me, towards home. Once during such a trip, small dog from a house a dog that usually was barking at us, and once that dog bit my leg when Kito was in the back of my bicycle, too high for the dog to bite, so he bit my leg. This dog came and attacked Kito and bit him very badly on the bottom hind leg. It was really bleeding and caused Kito limping, but he was able to walk home after he was crying very loud, and I went to comfort him. After that, he became more careful, as if he had learned his lesson. A dog in a Vietnamese village shouldn't wander around like his man. He should stay at home. He can hang around on the road in front of the house. He shouldn't bark at motorbikes. He shouldn't run after motorbikes. That was part of the education, kicking the dogs to teach them, and other dogs biting. Kind of social control. I would like to see it that way. So he wanted to stay at home more. It was difficult to get him to go for a walk with me. He only walked about 20 minutes, 15 minutes to the crossing across the river, and there he wanted to turn back. He sat down, looked at me. I'm not coming anymore. Come, let's go home. He turned and looked back home. If I continued walking, he started sitting there waiting for me. After I had disappeared, probably he walked home alone. Wasn't that safe even in the daylight? Somebody could have taken him. It was about when he was 4 or 5 months old, already big. He grew up so fast that I thought he has been bred intentionally for meat. He had good muscles. He was big and strong. Not much hair. It made me worried, but mostly I was just joking that he is a meat dog. Now, jokes about that are so far away. So, I know his personality. I have so many stories about our life together, and now he's gone. I haven't been there since September 2018, 5 months ago. So now, when the Lunar New Year is coming, in a few days I am supposed to travel there to meet the in-laws and celebrate the Lunar New Year. How can I have a happy New Year? How can I be happy remembering Kito living in there, and now his spot on the floor near the front door, near the hole in the wall, is empty. When I think that if he hasn't been eaten yet, probably a group of men, Vietnamese men, are sitting around the table drinking rice vodka or Saigon beer and eating my dog. How terrible is that? But I try. But Kito's faith encourages me, of course, speaking and hopefully even acting against consumption of dog meat. As a vegan, as a supporter of animal rights, I also am against eating any other kind of meat. But this is a different issue. I know some may think that I'm a speciesist, a person that gives different value to different species from the point of view of myself, from the point of view of humans. We may think so. Everybody is a speciesist, I think. But bring it into an extreme, that's what I think is wrong. Every creature has eyes, has brain, has family, has life. I think all of us should have the right to live according to our nature, according to our species. We shouldn't be killed at least in the extent that it happens now. In the nature, animals are killing each other. They are even torturing each other. Like cats torturing birds and mice. It's somehow part of the nature, but the way we humans treat other animals, it's far away from nature. We are not meat eaters by nature. We cannot run fast enough to catch animals. We cannot see in the dark. Seeing a carcass of a dead animal on the side of the road doesn't make our mouth watering. We are herbivores or at least omnivores, not hunters, not killers by nature. So, speciesism means that we give different value to different species. Or do we give different value to different individuals according to what those individuals mean to us, how strongly we are connected to them. When we hear about an accident somewhere on the other side of the world, in a place where we haven't been, we don't feel so much for the victims compared to what we feel if something happens near us to people that we know and we can relate to. So I am sad because of Kito, because I knew him. I have very strong emotional connection with him, not only to him. I knew that he also had a connection with me, even though he loved also the other people, the family member, mother of the family, my partner. They were first people in the family for him. When I saw him the first time, I came back from Finland. I was flying to Hanoi via Moscow from Helsinki, Finland. And then I flew from Hanoi to Ho Chi Minh City. We came home. I saw a little puppy about a month old, maybe even a little bit too young to be taken away from the mother. It was adopted from a family friend that had puppies. So, of course, I started cuddling him, touching him, and the family said, no, that's not what you are supposed to do here in Vietnam. You are not supposed to touch a dog because you may get sick, you may die. They told about the man who died after touching a dog, got rabies. They don't do much vaccination. But I couldn't be without touching him. And he started touching me too. He started biting me. A puppy whose teeth are growing usually wants to bite everything. I shouldn't have let him bite me, but my mind is quite soft, so I am not very good at keeping discipline to an animal. Not too tight. I couldn't raise a service dog. Now I realize I should have had 2 dogs that can play together, bite each other. That happened a few months after Kito came. The family took another dog, Mimi. Originally her brother had taken it, but he didn't get along with the baby, or the parents were worried about them not getting along, so they gave the dog to us. I was against taking that dog because I knew from previous experience the problems of having a dog, the problem of loving them too much, the problem with other people, because I like to let dogs live as much as possible a life according to their nature. They are wanderers. They want to go for a walk. They are not backyard dogs. They shouldn't be kept in the backyard, closed on a backyard, like they do in many places. In Australia, I knew many dogs that can never leave their backyards. In Malaysia, I saw dogs that were kept in the backyard in a very small cage. In Borneo Island, it wasn't in the island but somewhere in Malaysia, I met a guy from Borneo Island. That kept a big dog in a relatively small cage in his front yard. We were talking with him and a mutual friend about dogs. He told that he never touches the dog because he is a Muslim and he's not supposed to touch the dog, but he keeps the dog to scare the possible thieves away, to watch the house. He told that he is in a way attached to the dog, in a way that he wouldn't kill it by his own hands. But then he told that he could actually eat dog's meat. He could even eat his own dog, but because of the religion and because he knows the dog, he wouldn't kill it by himself, but if somebody did it to him, he would eat his own dog. He was speaking very strongly against vegetarian, vegan ideas. Totally crazy. He couldn't understand at all why some people are vegetarian. When I was a child, we visited grandparents who were living in Finland on a small farm. Sometimes we saw a dead pig hanging, the head down. On the shed, above the shed door, and there was a bucket under the head that was full of blood. They had slaughtered the pig and they salted the meat for the future probably. But in the evening, grandmother served sausages made of the leftover parts of the pig and probably the blood. In Finland they also use the blood. Even on school lunch we were served some meals made of blood. Like a pudding, black pudding kind of thing made of blood. They do it in Scandinavia, they do it I think in the Baltic countries, in Russia, in some countries. I don't know about Vietnam. So, and when I visited another farm, I saw the farmer killing chicken, cutting the head off, and then watching and laughing when the headless chicken was running around for a while. It was a reflex. Probably the animal didn't suffer in a way, but it was just disrespectful and cruel to the animal. So killing animals was not hidden like it's hidden into modern society. It's hidden behind the walls of slaughterhouses. They don't have glass walls. They don't have cameras. They are business secrets. Nobody is supposed to know what happens, except for law enforcement officials, vets, veterinarians that were controlling the circumstances, are controlling the circumstances in slaughterhouses, making sure that they follow the rules and obey the laws of animal welfare. There are such laws in Western countries. I don't know whether they have such laws in Vietnam. They have a law prohibiting dog theft and setting quite hard penalties. I guess even 5 years imprisonment for the thieves. But the police probably isn't able to enforce that law strongly enough. There are two tempting benefits of stealing dogs. Not too likely you will get caught. Probably those cases, a few cases where villagers have killed the thieves. They may be just exceptions. Not too likely you will get caught, and you can get relatively good money for dogs, because dog farming probably isn't legal here, and it may be too risky to keep illegal dog farms, and it may also be prohibited to import dog meat from neighboring countries. So the best way to source dog meat is to steal family dogs, to steal village dogs. Somebody told me that you can get less than $10 from a dog's body. $10. It's a big money here in Vietnam. It may be a day's or 2 days salary. For somebody it may even be closer to a week's salary. Anyway, it's tempting, too tempting to steal dogs. And probably they are organized gangs, groups that know how to do it. They do it efficiently. So these are memories of my beloved dog, related to him, related to life in Vietnam. Of course I knew that here in Asia people eat cats and dogs. They slaughter animals publicly, not secretly. A memory from about 9 months ago, 10 months ago, a few days ahead of our wedding, I had found out that they had been raising a pig secretly for the wedding, even though we had agreed not to do that. And when I was walking with my dogs, a group of men were slaughtering the pig. I came back home earlier because Kito wanted to return back. And when I was approaching home, I heard screaming of the pig. I stopped, I didn't want to go there. And the pig was screaming, crying, making noise, at least about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. They were killing it, not professionally, not instantly, but it was not halal, but maybe similar to that. So the animal was conscious when they stabbed him, let the blood run out, and the animal died slowly of loss of the blood from his body. When I walk on the markets, I don't do it willingly because I see live chicken in very small cages waiting for their fate to be slaughtered in front of the buyer. These chicken, they are so quiet, as if they don't have any escape. They don't have any escape. As if they know there is no escape. As if they know what's waiting for them. I was watching a documentary on YouTube about dog meat trade in Vietnam. A young lady made that documentary. She was watching the traders slaughtering dogs. She was watching the dogs, several dogs, being kept in a cage. They were quiet, as if they knew what will be ahead of them, and they knew there is nothing they can do to escape. Sad eyes, quiet dogs. Yeah, if you want, you can find those videos, but I wasn't able to watch it just for a short while. So, I am planning to live in Vietnam for the rest of my life or for a long time. I don't know what will be ahead of me, but if I choose to live here, do I need to accept the fact that they steal dogs? They steal your money. If you lose your wallet, nobody will give it back. They will keep the money. They will throw away the wallet and the cards and all items that they can't use. That's the way here in Vietnam. So, in a certain extent, I will have to accept the circumstances. But, as always, and I think also in a foreign countries where we are as guests, we should speak up. We should do something. At least speak about it. To stop injustice. Human rights, animal rights. Here in Vietnam, people are not starving. The country isn't that poor. People are able to work. People have lots of vegetables. They have lots of bananas. But as a cartoon, as a joke, they have published a picture, a drawing, cartoon. What would have happened if Adam and Eve, the Christian story from the dawn of the world of mankind, if Adam and Eve were Vietnamese, what would have happened? They would have left the apple untouched, and they would have caught the snake, cut it into pieces and eaten it. So people are not stealing dogs because they are hungry. People are not eating dogs because they are hungry. They are stealing dogs because they are greedy. They want to have a new car. They want to have a TV, higher standard of living, new iPhone. They are eating dogs because they are stupid. They are eating dogs probably for the same reasons as somebody wants to have a new car, a beautiful girlfriend to show off. They eat dog meat because they think that it brings them good luck. It gives them power. That's why they sometimes torture dogs to raise adrenaline levels of the blood. Adrenaline is the anger hormone in dogs, in humans too. When we get angry, when we get agitated, when we get anxious, the level of adrenaline rises in our body, in our blood, in our muscles. That's what makes lactic acid gather in our body after physical tough exercise, for example. So adrenaline gathers in the dog's body if they are tortured, made anxious, made angry. So some macho men, they like that taste. They think that the dog meat tastes better if you torture them before killing. Probably you can find material related to that, so you can find everything on YouTube, you know it. They eat dog meat in China, in Korea. Do they do it in Japan? They have lots of tourists from Korea, from China, in Vietnam, and some tourist companies offer them services, almost whatever they want. And one of the popular services they want is dog meat safaris. So tour companies organize tours to a restaurant where you can have dog meat. So if you travel to Vietnam, please ask your tour company or the hotel, are they organizing trips to try dog meat? And if you care, if you have a heart, if you have human feelings, say no. No to those companies that support dog meat industry. As a volunteer teacher, what I have done, what I can do, is to educate young people, is to ask them what they think about dog meat. I haven't met anyone in the classrooms that would speak for dog meat. They say no, they don't eat dog meat, they don't want to eat dog meat. It's only elderly people, somebody's grandparents have eaten it. But I have met adults that have told me they have eaten cat, they have eaten dog. Well, I even have met some people that eat chicken and beef and fish. I don't. I've been vegan for 15 years. And I strongly think that that's an ethical choice for human beings, not to kill animals, not to kill other animals, not to kill other beings. Because we don't need it. We can live without it. It's much easier for us to be without meat than it is for a cat or for a dog. Wouldn't work that way, that because dog eats meat, we need to eat the dog. Dog can be vegetarian, at least mostly, and that actually it can be entirely vegetarian. Even a cat can be. Because we humans, we know enough what nutritions they need from meat. So we can extract those nutritions like taurine from meat that cat needs, and we can extract them from other sources, or we can synthesize them. So, but I'm not saying that everybody should make their dogs and cats vegan. Just start from ourselves, and then it may motivate us to research more the question of animal nutrition. So, but human nutrition, do we really need meat? Many people like meat so much, they are attached to it. They think that especially a man needs meat. A man can't be a man. Children can't grow up if they eat only vegetables. Being vegan is not eating only salad, but plant food, plant-based, as they say often. vegan vegetarian is a really huge trend, mainstream in my home country, Finland. And I think that's where we are going to. Even Vietnam is going to. At the moment in Vietnam, vegetarian, vegan is for Buddhists only. But some Western-minded people already know. And they want to follow the Western rules where people are vegan, vegetarian because of ethical reasons, because of animal rights. Also because of emotion. There is nothing wrong with emotion. There is nothing wrong with positive emotion. There is nothing wrong in loving animals. That childish love of cute puppies, cute kittens, the emotion that makes us want to take care of them. As long as we continue to care, we don't abandon the puppy when it grows up. We don't abandon the kitten after it has grown up. We feel our responsibility. Once we take an animal, we commit taking care of them for the rest of our life. That's what I feel guilty about. Kito and Mimi, I didn't stay with them and take care of them, but I was worried about them. I was thinking of them. I was missing them. I felt very bad because of leaving them behind to take care of the in-laws that willingly wanted to do that, and they were technically their dogs. So I could have even thought that I don't have any right to take them with me. Same happened to me after divorce in Australia. I left 4 cats and 2 dogs. Our family with my partner. I knew that she will be much better carer for them than I could ever be. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow in the future, so I left them with her, though I also left my half of the house to her so they could live there. The little kitten that I rescued from her in Singapore in 2002, Kitty, who loved me so very much. All the other animals loved her at least as much as they loved me, but I was the love of her life for Kitty, and I'm sure she missed me a lot after I left. I visited them a few times, but the last 4 years I hadn't seen Kitty, and then one day I got the news from my ex-partner that she's about to die. She has invited a vet to euthanize Kitty the coming weekend, but then the nature did it first. On Thursday evening, Kitty passed away on the laps of my ex-partner. Forever I am thankful to her for offering such a good care to my animals, to our animals. Even though I also feel guilty for leaving them behind, for not fulfilling my commitment to the animals. That was the reason I thought after that I will never take animals again. But when I was in Finland in May 2017, my partner in Vietnam took Kito after she had learned that I love dogs so much. I love animals. And there was a puppy available. Well, she has had animals before. She could have taken it even without me, but at least I was part of the motivation for taking it. So I feel it was kind of my responsibility as well to take care of them. And when I noticed that they can't go for a walk, I felt very bad for them. I knew that they would love it. It's in their nature. So I wanted to take them for a walk, even though people thought that I am doing a wrong thing. A Vietnamese dog should not go for a walk. A Vietnamese dog's duty is to stay at home. And some people were scolding me to the mother-in-law that I let the dogs run in the rice fields, in the rice. I let the dogs go to their gardens, run in there. That my dogs are disturbing people on the road. Mimi was sometimes barking at the motorbikes. Before he was castrated, Kito was castrated by a pig castrating man when he was a few months old. So he became peaceful. He learned the hard way how to behave. Even when we were walking on the road, he went to the side of the road when a motorbike came. He had learned that he would be kicked if he walked too close to the motorbikes. Again, a picture comes to my mind about Kito running away from the house. They managed to break their way out of the house, and then him hanging around near the house on the road with the neighborhood dogs, with Mimi going to the yard with dogs, Kito sitting next to the gate or next to the river on the other side of that small village road, and then a motorbike coming, Kito sitting in the shade under a tree, and then the man throwing the lasso and ending Kito's life. I'm repeating myself again and again, and the pictures in my head, they are also repeating themselves, haunting me. In the beginning of this video, I forgot to tell that the images and the soundtrack, they don't match. They don't necessarily match. There is Kito on the video clips that I attach to this. And I am recording this, as you can hear, during my morning walk. 400 kilometers away in the central highlands of Vietnam, southern Vietnam, near the city of Dalat in Duc Trong. Cape Town. A few days before the Lunar New Year 2019, Year of the Pig. Is it still Year of the Dog? I don't know. Or monkey? I don't know. But soon I will be traveling to the other province in Mekong Delta area, to the village where my in-laws live and where Kito met his fate. Maybe I will set up a grave for him, or do something else to respect his memory, to say thank you for the love and friendship he showed to me. And I want to say sorry for not being there for you. And saying goodbye. My beloved friend Kito. I will never forget you. I will preserve your memory forever. I will try to be a better person to the animals that I possibly will have in the future. I will not leave them alone. I will try to protect them much better than I have been able to do now.